Hi, everybody. This is Kathleen Fitzgerald and Alana Kyle with Dismantling Morgellons. This is segment 4 of a series that we decided to do to help bring awareness to what you can do, what everybody's talking about in the Morgellons community, what we're seeing, things like that. So very informative and insightful. And so with that, Alana, um, what would you like to talk about, for this segment? Do you have any idea?
I definitely want to go into some of the products that we're using that have been the most helpful in terms of dismantling these horrible nests, which are usually lesions, and there's a lot of very painful areas that people are trying to deal with. I mean, everywhere, anywhere from your scalp down to your toes. I mean, there's lots of areas where there might be nests that you want to dismantle, and that's what we talk about. Do you want to? So I'll go ahead and start with the one of the best ones that we found. Shall I? Shall I continue? So the first one that I want to talk about is DMSO. Some of you know all about this, and some of you don't. It is a sulfur-based supplement, which is generally in liquid form, right? There you go. That one, you can buy this DMSO almost anywhere. It is so easy to get, and it's about what, $10 a bottle or less. So,
16 where I'm at. 16 to
oh, it
18.
depends on where you live.
Still lasts
Well,
a lot longer. Lasts a
that
long
bottle
time.
will last forever. But anyway, I get mine on Amazon. I know some of you don't like Amazon, but there are other places to get it. I recommend buying the one in the glass bottle. It's a little bit better in terms of because this stuff is sort of like a solvent, and that's the best quality of it because it actually, or one of the best. There's so many things I want to talk about with DMSO, but it's basically what we're doing with it is you were using it to dismantle the layers and layers and layers of this graphene hydrogel. And the hydrogel can be so tough, it's almost like concrete. I mean, it's hard to get through it. You can't, even cutting through it is not really possible. The only way to get it out of your system, out of your body, is to melt it out. Because
Yeah,
it
to
does
bring
harm.
it up to the surface, right? And get it to the surface and kill it. As far as I'm concerned. It just
Definitely. And I mean, it's a process. It's not easy. So this is one of our best tools because it really melts it quickly, and it has so many other amazing qualities that I want to talk about that you need to know because um, as a supplement is one of the best things you can give your body. So let me tell you what I'm going to read some from this DMSO, the Real Miracle Solution, the Health Matrix. That's where I got this information online. So it's DMSO promotes the excretion of urine and functions as a muscle relaxant. This is how it works. It boosts the immune system, increasing the production of white cells and macrophages that destroy foreign material and pathogens in the body. It also has antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties, which is wonderful for us. DMSO also increases the permeability of cell membranes, allowing a flushing of toxins from the cells. It's an effective painkiller, blocking nerve conduction fibers that produce pain. It reduces inflammation and swelling by reducing inflammatory chemicals, and it improves the blood supply to an area of injury by dilating the blood vessels, increasing delivery of oxygen, and by reducing blood platelet stickiness. So many things that we need right now. It stimulates healing, which is a key to its usefulness in any condition. So I've been using this for a decade already. It has been one of the biggest lifesavers. I can't even believe how it's helped me over the years. I would never, every day I do treatments with this stuff. And you can take it internally as well. It's perfectly safe. It's non-toxic. Um, the thing that people get afraid of with DMSO is it says on the back of the bottle, not for human consumption. And also the FDA didn't approve it for humans, but there's a big reason for that. They actually don't want you to have things that will take away from their bottom line, which is drugs and chemicals, and they want you to be not taking these natural remedies, because then it would take away from their profits. So they wouldn't approve it through the FDA, because it meant that they would be, you know, all of their profits would be taken away. So that's why. It's not that it's dangerous. It's not. I mean, if they use it on animals and horses, they use it in the vet industry. Why, you know, it's like, if it's used on animals, why can't it be used on us? It makes no sense. But anyways, so people actually know that this is one of the best things, and you can mix it with other things, which actually provides even another layer of healing. So you could mix this DMSO with other things, such as you know, organic aloe vera, organic oils, organic, you know, like herbal things, you know, like, say, example, clove oil or tea tree oil, arnica. These are things that would be used in a way that it would bring that item, that the oil, down inside, way inside your body, and be used in a way that couldn't be used otherwise. So it also, if you want to use it as like a drug delivery, it could be used that way too. Like if you had an antibiotic situation where you really need an antibiotic, you would need to use less antibiotic for the same value, because because DMSO increases the availability and the usage. So you don't even need to take as much, and it will go directly to the source of the pain or whatever the issue is, the infection. Instead of taking it from here, you could do it directly on whatever you're trying to heal. So there's a lot of different ways that it works, but what I do is I layer it with Calogel and sulfur ointment, and that is my biggest help with the sores and being able to melt the matrix of the hydrogel, and a lot of stuff will come pouring out of the area quickly, and then
So
I
is that
wipe it
just
away.
the clear Calogel? You
Yeah,
got the pink Calogel.
no,
Or the,
that's actually something else. That I think you're thinking of
so just the
another.
clear
Yeah,
Calogel.
it's clear, and I don't have a bottle of it with me, but
Anti-itch. It says anti-itch clear
it's
Calogel. That's the
it's
stuff.
Technu is the brand, Technu Calogel, and it's usually used for poison oak or poison ivy. So it has a lot of different properties, which are actually very helpful for us for dealing with these sores, because it can be quite intense, itchy, painful, red. I mean, this stuff's really nasty when it's coming out of your skin, right?
You
So the
know, and
Calogel.
I know that you just for everybody, that if you go to EMF Blocking Hats by Elena, she does post, she just did a nice post on the healing benefits of what the Calogel was, and did a picture. So there's some of the things that you can look forward to when you get, you know, just click on that you want to be invited to the group. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. Thanks for the clarification there. Everything I talk about on this series is all very much in evidence on my group, and we talk about all of these things and just over and over and over again. And also, if you ask, I will point you out to the information if you're having trouble finding it. But so Calogel has in it so many incredible things that will help with the nanotech, because it's got a menthol, it's a pain reliever, an anti-inflammatory. Menthol is one of the biggest things you can do to attack the hydrogel and to take away its pain levels.
Vicks VapoRub.
Think about all the different menthol products, anything like that you want to stock up on for sure.
That's pretty cheap
The other
stuff.
things, oh yeah, there's so many great menthol products, but Calogel has menthol, antiseptic property, antimicrobial. It's got EDTA, which is a chemical, but it's used to bind with heavy metals, iron, lead, and mercury, and nano.
That's
So it
super
will bind.
important. Wow.
That's so helpful to deal with the nano, because that stuff is really hard to get out of the body. Body won't reject it on its own. So you have
What
to
is
have it brought out.
EDTA? What is it?
I don't know I don't know the full name of it, but it's one of the
Look
incredible
it up.
chemicals they use for mercury detox. Yeah. So that one, that, I mean, of course you don't want to overdose on anything, but that, I mean, especially chemicals, but that's the only really bad thing. I mean, not bad, but chemical wise. But again, you need a binder in order to draw the metals, because these quantum dots and the graphene are not coming out on their own.
A
You
big
have to
long
pull it out.
word. It's an acid. Um, it's originating from multi-seasonal plants with dormancy stages. It's
Interesting.
safe to use. It's as eye drops in small amounts, as preservative in foods. But it can cause abdominal cramps, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache,
Well,
bloating.
it would, if in bigger quantities, yeah. And then the other things in the calogel is zinc, which is an antiviral. It's a positively charged ion. It's got antihistamine. It's an antihistamine, the zinc is, and it stops itching. So all of the good things that you need to be able to combat this, because it is so, the feelings, the discomfort of these sores is otherworldly, hard to describe, especially when you have a lot of it. It's, I just know how painful that can be, and these things help so much.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of stuff just to say too, that to back
Mhm.
you up, that it does have a lot of chelation therapy. There's EDTA supplements, and it's just like you said, widely used. I had no idea. Okay.
Well, yeah, because I was looking at mercury detox because I had a mercury problem too at one point, and that's where I found out about that. And that's a whole nother issue, but similar to the nanotech, because
I
it does
I
not
know.
enter the body.
I'm sorry, when I use it, I can feel the Calogel. I can feel uh just like stuff just kind of like boiling out, like beads or sandy stuff, and then the skin feels a lot better.
It
Like,
it literally obliterates the hydrogel. That's what my experience has been. And then you can rub it, and a lot of stuff will start being drawn out of it, and it's unreal. It's
and
just like
like massage it to the middle. Just massage it to the
circular,
middle.
circular.
Circular, right. Any
And then,
direction.
and then wipe and remove, and then do it again, do another layer, and just keep on attacking it like that.
Remember to keep it very sterile and wash your hands a lot, because you're just going to transfer all this stuff and touch stuff. So, while you're doing it, you have to make sure that, you've got paper towels and maybe a spray bottle to wash your hands. I mean, you just got to, because it can be a very long process. I mean, once you get started on these things, sometimes you just watch a movie and, you don't want to keep getting up. So you just get your supplies there and be able to just take your time. And what I've been saying too, it's okay, is that I want to deprogram it to not want to replicate and cling together. Program it to like let go. That's what I'm
Yeah,
like
because it
thinking
is,
about.
yeah, it is they're being programmed to be there. Yeah, you're right. So there's like a lot of layers to this. I mean, we're going to go into it in this series. We're going to get deep into this. But
Okay, good. So
basically,
I'm not far off track. I mean, I'm kind of new to
no,
all this. I'm not as
new.
I would regard as an expert on this stuff, because you've been dismantling this whole,
Yeah,
matrix
I have. I've
for a
learned a
long
lot.
time.
I've learned a lot over 10 years, and I'll tell you, it's when you add up the hours I've spent, I think it's around 18,000 hours. So basically, my whole life has been spent doing this for 10 years.
Okay, so now we've got DMSO and Calogel, and
Okay.
keep going.
Okay. Well, I'll talk just briefly
And
about the
sulfur.
sulfur ointment. Yeah, the sulfur ointment is really critical. And some of you may think you have an allergy to that, but I question that. But basically, it's a very easy way to melt the hydrogel without any pain. It's very soothing.
Yeah,
And
I
you can
noticed that
use
too.
it anywhere. You can use it anywhere on your body, except for, I wouldn't use it in the eyes because it just stings too badly there. But everywhere else, it is so helpful. I put it up my nose. I use it in my mouth sometimes. Like there's just like areas, sensitive areas. that you would want to use something that is very, very helpful, that won't cause a lot of issues, like a lot of pain.
I noticed that you gave me, so there's the bars of the sulfur soap, there's
Mhm.
cream, and then there's like an ointment salve in a little plastic deal. And this is stuff that anybody can get on the over the counter. It's pretty cheap. Then I think
Very.
they sell it as like an acne application,
Yeah,
you know.
good. The 10% if you can, the highest quality if you can. I mean, as far as the amount of sulfur that's in the
Then
product.
if you don't like the stinging, I can recommend don't use the DMSO right away. Use it very sparingly. Take a Q-tip, never touch it with your hands, and just dab a little bit on at a time right on the lesion itself if you're kind of
If
don't
you
like
want to
the
just
sting.
test
But the
it.
calogel won't sting you, and neither will the sulfur. Those two
Well, I can
things.
tell you on that point, it's really important to know that when you use DMSO, you might feel a little heat, and that's normal. And then you might also feel a little stinging. Well, guess what the stinging is? The stinging is those little tiny, 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 tiny quantum dots coming through your system, and it scrapes your nerves as it goes. So it's
That's
actually,
what I thought. It's like getting in there and like kind of shrinking it and making it come out somehow. I
yeah,
don't
and that's
know.
the pain, that's the stinging, and it doesn't last very long. So I even use DMSO in my eyes, guys. And I mean, daily to clean my eyes out. And this is important because this stuff in your eyes can cause serious damage, and you really want to get it out. So, and you know, sometimes people have floaters. Well, that's all this nanotech too. So
So
what I
now
use,
when you
one
get,
drop of
say,
DMSO. Go ahead.
put it in your eyes, so you get it in a glass jar from, you know, a dealer or whatever online, then do you transport it and be very careful into another little glass dropper and then you
Yeah, I
put
put it
that
in
in
a
your eyes?
dropper, but you have to be careful not to turn the dropper sideways because it'll destroy the dropper,
Yeah,
you
the
know, so you really
rubber and the dropper,
it's
right.
okay in a dropper as long as you keep it upright. But then so I just drew one drop in each eye, and you might want to just start with one eye, but it does sting, but like, again, it's the stuff coming out, and you'll see the stuff. So you'll know it's actually working. And then your eyes feel like amazing. It feels so, I mean, my eyes are so clear. Look, I mean, it's crazy. So I love this product, and it's very safe. But of course, I'm not a doctor, so you know, ask your doctor first, whatever. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you how to do whatever.
I'm not
Yeah,
taking the place of your doctor.
yeah. And then so the other thing I want to talk about, do we have time, is borax. We have time to talk about borax for a little bit.
I think so. We haven't gotten the warning yet. So, and we're trying to keep these down to about 30 minutes because we know your time's valuable and these are just good amounts of segments that will, you know, give you a wealth of information. So yeah, borax, go.
Okay,
Do
so
it.
borax is invaluable. You have to start getting this in your life. I mean, we use it for a really good detox bath, which I'll give you the recipe for. And I use it internally, and it has a myriad of benefits that are unprecedented. I mean, you won't believe the change in your quality of life. Let me tell you what I have here to read about it. It says, and this is from earthclinic.com online. It says, we've been using borax remedy for over 15 years to treat chronic illnesses, including autoimmune diseases, hormone problems, and chronic pain. Sodium borate is also helpful for treating a variety of specific ailments. As an anti-inflammatory agent, borax effectively treats arthritis, gout, swollen gums, and other inflammatory diseases. Shocking as it sounds to some, a liquid borax solution is consumed by thousands of people worldwide as a natural daily remedy for many health conditions. Borax is a natural substance mined from the earth, just like salt. It contains boron, a trace mineral which can be lacking in modern diets. So it's definitely an essential mineral. We need it for health. According to research, restoring healthy boron levels can improve many health conditions like arthritis. It also balances your hormones. It also stops calcium from leaching from your bones. And then for our purposes, it deactivates the nanotech so it can come out of your body easily.
So are you taking this internally?
Yes,
Because I've tried it
internally.
internally and I've had some great results and it's just like a tiny, tiny, super tiny
There,
pinch.
there are different doses
And about
that I'll
6
recommend.
ounces of water. That's how I do
That's
it.
the
And then
one
I
I
just drink
recommend.
it.
Yeah, it's so easy, right? You don't have to think about it too much. You just take a little, but it's apparently 100 times safer than salt.
Well, I've noticed that borax has a way, if you have a tendency of maybe the electronic stuff or being kind of electronically harassed, you kind of feel yourself getting emotional or being taken over somehow. You take that little tiny, tiny, teeny, super tiny pinch, in the water is how I do it. And then boom, you just come back in and the splitting stops. So you're right. I think it just like stops the Wi-Fi frequency, disbands it or disrupts it or
Well,
something
yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, yeah, it etches the surface of these nanoparticles so that they cannot function the way they're supposed to. So it's good stuff. And I mean, there are other doses depending on your particular ailment, and we can go into that later. But I mean, as
Yeah,
far as
and then
different ailments,
let me
but
say that Carl Schultz, he talks up boron. So if you wanted to go a more, I guess mainstream supplemental way, you could do the boron, and that's from borax.
it's not as good because it doesn't have the salt formation that the borax has. Boron is the sort of essence of it, but the borax is better because it's got the salt sort of bigger formation that coming straight from the earth. Anyway, that's my personal opinion, but anyway,
Okay, well, I go for borax. I dig borax, and I
let me,
use it
I don't know
every
if you can
day
see what it
on
looks like
some
on
farm.
the 20 mule borax
20
from,
mil borax.
it's
There it
about
is.
$6 a box. Okay, so you can't complain that it's too expensive. And then let me tell you the bath that I use that's good for pulling all the nano out of your skin, and it's extremely effective. So it's 2 cups of borax in hot water mixed with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, powdered cinnamon only. Okay, few drops, like I'd say 10 or 20 drops of clove oil, and Bronner's citrus soap. And these things together create a situation where it literally clings to the particles in your skin, draws it out. And we end up with, you can see on the bottom of the tub and in the tub and the water, even just the hydrogel just floats to the surface, and it's like oily substance on the surface, and it sticks to your tub. It's really hard to clean off, actually. It's really sticky stuff. And then you've got these particles that are sort of black, brown, what have you, that end up at the bottom of the tub, and they're magnetic. These particles are magnetic, so you can see how they like want to clump together. They like come together like in a big group. I mean, instantly. Like you could mix the water up and all of the particles are floating everywhere, and then a few seconds later it's like boom, comes back together.
Amazing,
It's
Elena.
amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. And I've had so many people in my group show me pictures of their baths, and it's really incredible what comes out.
So just 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, that's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot, and it helps so much. It's actually, that's antiviral, and that's actually antifungal, and I think it has some kind of property where it pulls because of the ions, the
Does
negative.
it do the same if you take it internally as it
Yes,
does?
absolutely. You got it. Oh yeah, and it's anti-parasitic. That was the thing. Anti-parasitic is what you want. And clove oil too. Those both
I
anti-parasitic.
was thinking about you last night, and I put some extra cinnamon on some granola that I was gonna eat. I was thinking about it.
I have it. I love cinnamon. And we even have cinnamon soap. We have, cinnamon on our food, cinnamon, but the thing I would warn against is the oil isn't as helpful, because as effective as it can be if you use it right, people have found that when you put it in the bath, it actually burns you badly. So I mean, because it's too effective. Let's put it that way. So you got to be careful not to use the oil in that way in the bath.
Clove oil's okay.
Clove oil can be on your surface of your skin without burning you, and so can tea tree oil. Yeah. So you got to be careful with some of the oils, just, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, it can really cause a problem. Because I mean, I've done it. I've actually tried it one time. I put the cinnamon oil in my bath, and oh my God, felt like my whole skin was on fire. It was terrible.
Yeah, where you live and learn, but that's it, trial and error. And I know that there's going to be some people that are going to be watching this and, they've been through the long haul and they've learned some stuff too. And so at some point, we'd like to hear from you and, have some segments where we've got some guests on here talking about their protocols. I mean, I'm learning some stuff as I go through some of the things too, and some of my clients as well. So it's all good information. We just got to keep talking about it, keep sharing. I think we still got more time. Keep
Well,
going.
yeah,
Got more on borax.
I learned from you. Yeah, I learned from you about the Bactrin. So I went to Rite Aid to try to find something like that. They didn't have Bactrin per se, but they had another
What?
thing. But the Bactrin, it's that stuff you use for the animals. Remember you were showing me?
Oh,
That's,
right. Yeah,
is it the
yeah.
whole Bactrin? What is it called exactly?
Bacterial spray.
But
I
but
have
the
it.
word is Bactrim or something like that.
I don't remember. I
You
don't
don't
know.
know.
Sorry.
Oh,
We'll get
well,
it next
anyway,
time. We'll get
we'll
it
get
out.
it to you. But the thing is I went and I found something similar. It's an antiseptic kind of wash that you use for
I have that here. The Benedites. The
oh, it's
Benedite.
Benadite. Okay. There you go. Oh,
Benadine
betadine. Oh, okay, I got it totally wrong.
surgical scrub. Now,
Okay.
what I'm finding is that as I'm healing with this, lesions or any kind of skin issues, if I mix this with borax, this becomes like some sort of Godzilla scrub.
Yeah.
And I'm kidding you. I've been using this on my face too, because I get, if I don't do it regularly and get all this facial recognition nanotechnology off, we start getting breakouts because the stuff just gets on and then just starts setting up shop. I don't know what it does. So this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I went to the Rite Aid and I found something similar. Actually, two things that are similar. And
yeah, they
I'll
have it.
share that in my group. But no, I couldn't find that exact one. But I started using it on my face and I'm just amazed at the difference. Like it's really helping with, clearing up just this like plastic layers and the sort of weird like redness and strangeness, on my face.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
let's
really
talk
enjoying that.
about the iodine then next. And so I've got this. This is a big old spray bottle of gentle iodine, no sting, no alcohol, skin disinfection, superficial wounds. So it says not for human use, but whatever, But you can get broad areas. The iodine, what I'm finding is that it stains the graphene and the nano, so you can see it as it's coming up through the skin. So you
That's
know
really
where it's
helpful.
at.
Yeah.
It's also killing the
Well,
stuff,
you know what? It's definitely
keeping
killing
the
it. And
infection down.
yeah, definitely SSKI, Carl Schultz that's one of his things that he uses for healing.
Yeah.
And I definitely would like to get more involved in that particular thing as well. SSKI is super saturated potassium iodine, and that's for human consumption. And it takes away from the radiation aspect of this. So that actually is why it's super
Yeah.
critical. It really kind of heals and solves that problem as far as the radiation effects.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say too about the iodine is that when you take it internally, of course, it's protecting the thyroid from radiation, protects the body from radiation. So obviously it's going to protect the circuitry, the radioactive circuitry. It's not going to protect it. It's going to destroy it or protect the body from it.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
why
The only thing is it
critical.
does stain your clothes. So, you got to be careful not to wear any clothes that you care about. But that's
Yeah,
okay. I mean, it's
maroon
very
colored
useful.
clothing is good.
Right. So anyway, and then of course there's the internal, like I said, SSKI, there's internally, you can take that, and that's a whole we could do a whole segment on that at some point, because you have to know how to make it, because it only comes in these little granules, and you have to learn how to like put that in the water and get it to be a form that you can take.
I never learned that yet. I know Carl Schultz. I dropped the
Carl's good
ball.
at
I was
that.
going to learn from him, and he sent me some amazing salve that I used, and it was great. So we'll have to have him come on and explain some stuff to us too, because he's got a lot of stuff.
There's
That's
so,
Carl Short.
okay, so we just touched the surface, but these are some of the main things. Next time we talk more about quantum healing, quantum energy clearing. We'll talk more about the hats, which can talk more about some various other protocols, which are really helpful. But I mean, I
You
think
got
we
8 minutes. You
We
got
got-
8 minutes to talk about whatever you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, well, I will show you what a synthetic skin takeover kind of looks like. You see the skin?
Yeah,
That's
just
like
hold it still.
that's like years. This is my fingers, years and years and years of buildup of hydrogel. And you can see how it kind of like the skin kind of bubbles up, like it's so like plasticky and gross. And it looks kind of
Yes.
white,
Yes.
basically. And then there was these like cracks that appeared. I don't know if you can see some of the cracks. There's like cracks that appear with all kinds of like, you know, strange stuff. And it actually really hurts bad. That is what my hands looked like that all over my hands for 20 years. And now look at them now. Incredible, right? And you know, when I went to the doctor for this, they said I had eczema.
Yeah, so as I was saying, give you some sort of steroid cream or whatever.
It didn't work. Nothing worked. Yeah. And the pain is unreal. The pain is unreal. So I'll tell you a treatment that you can use for that. So what I would do is I would soak my hands in a basin with borax, cinnamon, clove oil, and citrus soap, just like the other bath, but you know, in a basin. And you just soak your hands like that. And you can see the stuff coming off of your hands.
Incredible. How many times a week or a day?
You know, if you really got a bad one, I would do 2 times a day. And then afterwards, you know, really scrub your skin afterwards, and then put on some coconut oil or some castor oil. You can even put gloves on to kind of keep it all soaking in there, so that it actually the fibers will come out faster if you cover your hands with gloves. This is something I learned from Candy Nelson, but
Yeah, that's
anyways,
an old farm trick. I had to do that when I was a kid because
really
I worked so hard, you know, my hands would be red and
bloody.
sore. So. Yeah.
You did that, so you soaked your hands in
We would
the
put,
water?
no, I didn't soak my hands. We would just put bag balm on my hands. And then I would
Cover.
put gloves on and overnight. And in the morning, they would be pretty much healed, you know.
It's much faster to heal that way. But, you know, I mean, for me, it took a long time, because I mean, there was so many layers. I mean, like decades of this stuff. And I mean, it hurt a lot when I was healing. It does. It gets red. So it looks bad at first, and it seems like it's getting worse, but it's actually getting better, because as the stuff, like I said, as stuff comes out, fibers come out, all of this hydrogel gets melted off. It hurts as it goes.
It
So
hurts as it's coming up through the skin because there's a lot of nerve endings in there. You're going through the fascia.
every
But
time
you
you
know,
bend your
my
fingers,
experience is that with other people too, is that once the stuff comes out, the lesion looks pretty bad, but then underneath is new skin, and sometimes it scars, but mostly it doesn't. And the biggest thing is not to hurry it, because you can cover it and leave it for a day or two, pack it with, like we said, alfalfa. We'll get to that another
definitely.
segment. Alfalfa's amazing. But you know, like she says, to open it up, work the stuff out, cleanse it really good with maybe the betadine, which is an iodine cleanser. And then, you know, put a little coconut oil or vitamin D oil or something nourishing, cover it, you know, things like that. You can do all sorts of treatments, combos. You just got to follow your intuition, because sometimes you're looking at a big storm that's got to come up through, and there's layers and layers and layers of it, and you're going to want to dig and pick and do major surgery. But you know, if you just, we'll get to more stuff, like we promise. You know, we're running out of time for this segment, but we'll get to the nitty gritty on how to pack these wounds, what to do if you have more than one, where they're located, all this kind of things, so that you know you're not going crazy. It's not skin cancer, probably. I mean, we can't say don't go to the doctor or don't go to the doctor, but you know, what we're saying is that when you have something like this going on, you're going to have all of this fear running through you. You just are, because it's going to be pretty painful and crazy and horrendous. And you're going to be like, what's going on? But it's good stuff coming out that you don't need.
Well,
It's
you can
painful.
see it coming out, and I actually watched it come out.
Feel
So
it.
I
Yeah.
I know what's coming out. I know it's not just in my mind. And I could see the improvements day by day, but I mean, yeah, it is a painful process, unfortunately.
Well, if I hadn't seen some of the stuff that you were doing, showing us in the group, and then when it came time for me to like be like, oh, that's what she was talking about. There it is. And I would peel it right off and go, that's exactly what she's talking about. Then you're like, okay, I'm cool. It's okay. It's coming out. You know, I'm gonna be all right. You know, I mean, because Morgellons can
Absolutely.
really take control. We have people that I know personally that have had a hard time with this. And this, I think it's gonna start getting worse.
Yes,
More people are gonna start
unfortunately, it
suffering.
will.
So it's
Hmm.
important that we share this information, you know, up front as fast as we can once we get this stuff loaded up, and, you know, keep sharing everybody to the website and all that. So we'll get all that together. Um,
There's so much to share.
3 minutes. Why don't you close us out for 3 minutes? I'll give us a
Okay, well, I want to encourage you to take the next step to heal whatever issue you have. And um, please join my group, EMF Blocking Hats by Elena. And I am there every day. You can ask questions. You can even PM private message me if you have a specific question that is, sensitive that you don't want to share in the group. I can always point you out, tag you in the posts that talk about these specific things that we talked about. And then, use the search bar in the group, because you can definitely look up hydrogel, graphene, you can look up quantum dots. There's just a plethora of information there. There's just so much. And I mean, don't be afraid. We got to fight this like warriors. We got to have the spirit to to stand up against this tyranny and stand up against this takeover, and take care of ourselves and take care of our families. That's what I've been doing. And that's the best thing you can do right now. So
yeah,
God bless
well,
and
we both
you.
believe you can heal. We've seen a lot of miracles. Candy has shared lots of miracles with us too. So there's so much hope, and we love you. And anybody that's
Yeah.
watching this, our hearts go out to you and your suffering, and we know what you're going through. So, you know, we love you. And that's about it. So we're going to sign off for now. I'm Kathleen Fitzgerald. This is Alana Kyle. Another beautiful segment on what we would call dismantling Morgellons. I think that's about right, because once you get into this, you're going to understand it is kind of a unlayering, revealing of our true selves. Anyway, God bless everybody.
Thank
See
you
you
so
around.
much.
See you later.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.